Hey y'all, this is Grant with AK to VA Outdoors. Just wanted to go ahead and film a video today about what I like to call my fishing HQ, my headquarters. This is what I keep pretty much everything that I own in. It's what I stage my trips out of. If I'm just driving somewhere and then walking, I'll take the whole thing. If I'm in a kayak, you know, sometimes I'll just take one or two of these, some soft plastics out of the top, my terminal. But I just wanted to go through what I carry with me when I go fishing and see if it could help y'all out. So I'm gonna bring y'all a little closer now. All right, so this is an Evolution Fishing tackle backpack. I guess we'll just start top to bottom. So here we have all my soft plastics, and I'll run through what those are real quick. Guggen, Rattle and Chunk, and Green Pumpkin. It's a really good imitation bait. I like to run these on a jig head with some sort of a skirt. That way it's got some body to it, something that they can really see doing some sort of action through the water. It makes them really like to bite it. These I got for free. I haven't used any yet, but I can't imagine that a 4-inch Sassy Swimmer in pearl white wouldn't do good, so threw it in the pack. Classic U-tail, pumpkin, chartreuse, speckled tail. Great for largemouth. A little long for smallmouth in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. I'm a fan of small baits. I think even largemouth bass sometimes would prefer a smaller bait than those 10-inch long worms. I don't know, that's just my opinion. Here I've got some thicker, like grub style U-tails, one in the dark. This is a Green Pumpkin. This one's white with chartreuse speckled tail. Great for overcast days, great for sunny days, if you catch my drift. I slayed some flounder on these all week long in Myrtle Beach 2 years ago, so there's your tip. That one's for free. Put them on a 3/8 ounce lead head and just drove it across the bottom. Caught fish all day long. So here's what I have for large and smallmouth. It's a 5-inch Yum Dinger. It's just about my go-to for every pond and every small river that I fish. If you can get the black with the blue flake in 5 and in 4, then you get yourself the same Yum Dinger in Green Pumpkin, and then you get 4 and 5 in the Smoky Pearl. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's just money everywhere. Now, for my smallmouth, I do like to carry white or pearl with a silver flake because it just is real bright. In the murky creeks and rivers that we fish here in Southwest Virginia, I just feel like that's really money. Like I said, with the thick Fat Albert grubs, you've got a dark and a light in every length. And then what I will do is I will get a jig head that matches the color somewhat. It doesn't have to be exact, but hopefully you can see that. That really gives them something to latch onto. They see the skirt floating through the water and you're bouncing this across the bottom and it just floats nice in the water and they just can't resist it. I catch bass on that all day long, ponds and rivers. All right, like I said, this is my HQ bag. So moving on from the saltwater and from the smallmouth and largemouth, here I have my bluegill, crappie, trout setup. Pretty much my panfish and trout setups. I love Mr. Twister. You cannot go wrong with Mr. Twister. So what I have here, 2-inch teeny tail. I've got blacks and I've got whites. 2-inch teeny tail. I've got chartreuse with a white core. I've got pink with a white core, both of them silver flaked. Those are 2-inch. Then I have the 1-inch, the little bits, and that's pink and chartreuse as well, and that's white and black as well. And then I'm trying these out. I've never really tried them, but I can't imagine that they wouldn't work. It's a 1 1/4 inch nymph, and I'm actually gonna get those out and show you because they are curious looking. Kind of just looks like a little alien bug, I guess. See how I can do this. So you can imagine those kind of spread out going through the water. It's got 4 little legs on there. My guess is you can run this weightless, maybe like a drop shot kind of rig so it sets up above the ground just a bit, or throw it on a really light lead head, cast it out there and bounce it across the bottom. I cannot imagine either of those strategies not working. I also like to carry something a little thicker for crappie because crappie have a little bit bigger mouth than trout and bluegill. Of course, the trout I'm catching are very small native brook trout, so they're just small. But this has a little bit more of a body to it. The Mr. Twisters are pretty slender. This obviously is a little thicker. It's I think that's motor oil. And then this is obviously chartreuse U-tail. Really does good on a lead head. I like to put this on a 1/16 ounce or maybe a 1/8 ounce if you're needing to get a little deeper. And pretty much if you don't catch something on that, you're doing something wrong. Now, I keep just some random stuff. I've got split shot weights here in the side pocket. Right here, I have my extraction tools. So these are the Lew's pliers, the $40 ones. no complaints yet. The cutters are great. The pincher here is great. The pliers are actually a little thicker than I would like. So I don't know if you can see that. That's just kind of a big, gnarly, not a very good precision tip on that. They do work well. Have used them some, not much yet because I just got them. But I may, after I break them in and don't like them as much because they're not brand new, I may take a grinder to this and just make them a little smaller so I can really get in there and work more surgical with them. I also carry some larger ones, a little bit deeper. I got those in Myrtle Beach for saltwater because a flounder bit my thumb. You can clip it on to the hook and actually latch them together like that, and then they will stay locked even if I'm not holding them. And then you're able to come back here and, you know, push that hook out. Two things I always carry with me: a lighter. There's 100,000 uses for it, so I don't feel like I have to explain myself, but if you want to start a fire and do a little catch, clean, cook kind of a thing, you got to have a fire source. Also, these are the Rapala fishing line nippers, so they're nice just to clip your line. They do cut braid very well, as does the cutter on these Lew's pliers. They do cut braid, mono, fluoro, handles it very well, but these are nice to have. I've got various and asunder sizes of line: hybrid fluoro 8 and 6 pound test, some really old 4 pound mono that I should probably throw away, but I'm stingy like that. And I've got some braid in here, 2 rolls of 20, really bright green and more of a mossy green. I do like a spider wire, but I'm gonna see if I can't try some other ones, maybe some Seaguar and some other brands, see if I can find something that I like, because I have noticed the spider wire is eating away at the eyes in my bait casting rod just a little bit, because I like to leave braid on my bait caster, because I do a lot of top water with my bait caster. And got some more old 4 pound trilene. I don't know why I have it. And then I've got 17 pound, wow, what a mess. Tangle Fairy's got me again. This is 17 pound mono. I have not figured out how to get on the big catfish in Smith Mountain Lake yet. So for the smaller ones that we catch, this does great. Never broke off a catfish on 17 pound mono. But like I said, I don't catch great big ones. I catch nice catfish. I've got a couple of 10, 12, 15 pounders, but nothing crazy. So I'm gonna go ahead and dig into my hard baits here, what I've got in the actual dividers. Because this is my HQ, I organize this by species or by bait style. And then I also have one separate just for terminal. This one's pretty much empty, just got some old junker baits in it. I can carry this whole thing with me, or if, say, I'm going bass fishing, I'll pick out my 3 favorite soft plastics. I'll grab my terminal, which I keep lead heads, extra wide gap, number 3s, number 4s, number 5s, little colored lead heads, some bigger ones. Those are what I threw the Fat Albert grubs on for flounder in Myrtle Beach. Just some other random stuff, you know, straight J hooks, swivel heads. I do use lock swivels, no shame in it. I know people say the fish see them, but I catch fish all the time, so I don't worry about that kind of stuff. So I'll carry my terminal, then I maybe grab my jerkbait, crankbait box, throw that in there. Like I said, grab my 2 or 3 favorite soft plastics for the day, and then I can take that and be in a kayak, or if I'm traveling, taking fishing stuff to Alaska with me on a trip, then I will not obviously take the whole thing. I'll take 1 fishing rod, maybe 2, and then I will take just what I need and go hit the water. This is kind of just like all my cheaper brands that I don't care about as much. This is my Walmart, my Bass Pro bargain bin style jerk baits. So I casted them once and the hooks are starting to rust. You know, those are just the ones I don't care about. I keep them separate from my nicer stuff, my Guggen, my 6 Sense, all that kind of stuff. But I keep these separate. You know, if I'm going somewhere I feel like I may, I don't know, catch a log, lose a lure, I'll take these instead. So these are mock baits. The mock bait work bait, I've got that in 2 colors. I believe this is bone pearl with an orange belly. I do like that color a lot. And then I went a little darker so I could cover different weather days and sunlight days. Like today, bright day like this, may want one more than the other. But again, I like to bring both just in case, so I'm always prepared. I am very partial to Guggen crankbaits. I don't know why. I mean, a crankbait is a crankbait. I think it's more for me than it is for the fish, but I just really like Guggen. I still have quite a few to get. I don't have any of the minis yet. I have micros and regulars. I freaking love micro crankbaits. Nobody can tell me that a micro crankbait does not work in the river, because I catch smallmouth on them all the time. So I have the Sriracha crawl. You can't go wrong in a crawfish pattern at all, especially in a fast moving river. And then I believe this is chartreuse blueback or something of that nature, and this is the micro. So if you're looking for what size they are in person, you can't quite picture it in your head, that's it. sitting in my hand, nice and small. I think the regular sizes are a hair too big in my opinion. They are large, so I can't imagine what the grandes would be for. I don't do a whole lot of saltwater fishing or trolling. This is the regular, so it's large for sure, and the bill is all the way out here. This right here, that's 8 inches for my hand. So you got every bit of 5.5. But again, the Sriracha craw, you can't really go wrong with it. I may not have bought a full-size Sriracha craw if I knew how big it was, but of course if you're in Louisiana, you've got crawfish that big. We don't have them like that in here in Virginia, at least not where I'm at. So with the full size, I got the Sexy Shad. That might possibly just be a regular shad. The Sriracha craw, and then I got the Chartreuse blueback again. It's a good colorway, catches their eye. Nice for overcast days. This is a Yozuri. It looks a lot like a threadfin shad, so if you have those where you're at, this is gonna be money. It's 2¼ inch long, I believe. 2 treble hooks. If you fish ponds and there's a bunch of dinky little 1 to 2 pound bass, this is money. This is your bait, I'm telling you right now. Go get it. It's at Walmart. It was like $4. I love this thing. That's all I've got in that. All right, now getting into my spoons, my spinners, that kind of stuff. You're gonna see a lot of things that a lot of people don't use for bass, and that's because I don't use them for bass. The name of the channel is AK to VA, so there's a reason for that. I grew up in Alaska. I grew up fishing there. I didn't move down here until I was 16, and I go back as often as I can. So this is kind of like my Alaska box. If you're from Alaska, you know trout, salmon, steelhead. You cannot go wrong with a pink pixie. I like the ones with the rattle in them. But again, that just looks like a little clump of eggs right there. It's a little bit reflective. It's got rattles in this body, and then it's got this trailing treble hook. That is made by Blue Fox. This is the Rattlin' Pixie, and I will carry several sizes and several colors at all times. And then finally, because some regulations don't allow treble hooks, I've got this one. It's a little smaller, and it's got a single J hook on it. I'm telling you, if you're going to Alaska and you're going for salmon or trout, Dolly Varden, Arctic Char, get yourself a pink pixie, get yourself a Blue Fox Vibram spinner, probably number 3 or number 4. If you're going for bigger fish, maybe a silver salmon would like a 5 or a 6. Underrated bait, number 1 right here. I'm telling you, you will not catch more trout on any bait than a Kodiak Customs number 5 spinner. That's a number 5 pink, number 5 chartreuse and black, and finally we have orange. Every single one of those is money. I spent a summer working in a village called Noatak. The Noatak River is world renowned for its fishing. It's Arctic grayling, it's Dolly Varden, it's Arctic Char, they're all there. And we absolutely slayed Dolly Varden on Kodiak Customs. Not a single one of us was throwing anything different. None of us threw one like this, but I got one because I liked it. It's the same thing, it's a number 5, it's orange, but it's got a skirt on it. So like I said with the bass lures earlier, it's just nice to have a little bit of a body to it. Obviously it covers the hook. If you've got skittish fish that don't like to see hook or line, that's a good option. But like I said, Kodiak Customs, can't go wrong. Picked these up at a garage sale the other day actually, but if you fished in Alaska, you know exactly what that pattern is. That's the classic Daredevil pattern. This is not Daredevil brand. It's called a silver minnow, but it's weedless. And I got 2 of them for 50 cents each at a garage sale. So we'll see how that goes. Now, if you're fishing for grayling, nothing that I showed you will work, because grayling have what you call paper mouths, and they're very small. So first things first, if you're from down south and you're used to bass fishing and you go grayling fishing, don't set the hook. Maybe like a little, but like these bass hook sets where you're about jumping out of the boat, you're just gonna hurt the fish, you're gonna break his jaw, and you'll never catch them. You never will. They've got paper mouths. You just barely tug. That's all you can do. But what you want are small spinners with bright colors. So this has got an orange guard on the treble, and it's a MEPS number 0 spinner. There you go. That's money. Now, if you don't like spinners, this is actually my number 1 for grayling and for native brook trout. If you're catching real small ones, you know, like the real pretty ones, this is what you want to use. This is a 1/32 ounce Mr. Twister lead head. And what you'll do is you'll put a 1-inch little bit on that of your color. If it's a chartreuse head, I'd put a white or a black body on it. I don't normally go chartreuse and pink, but obviously that's just an aesthetics thing for me. But I'm telling you, you drag that through the water, and it's a lot of sight fishing in Alaska for grayling. Sometimes it's not, and the bigger ones are, you know, down low, but if you see them and you throw this to them, they will eat it every time, because it's a perfect little snack. And then all you gotta do is a little tug, remember? Just a little, like that. And it'll set that little hook in their mouths without breaking anything, and you will catch grayling until you're tired of fishing. Now we get to one of my favorite styles of fishing for bass, in ponds, if you know, you know, the top water frog. There is nothing funner and seeing an 8-inch circle of water disappear into the mouth of a largemouth bass. That is the funnest you can have, I think, on planet Earth. So I have a couple of frogs. I haven't done much frog fishing lately, but I've got this one. It is green pumpkin. It's got red and black flakes. Pro tip, if you will boil these in water, it'll soften up this body and makes your hook sets much easier. And you need all the help you can get, because I have missed a lot of hook sets on this. Timing is everything with frogs, because you have to wait till these body is pushed down, otherwise those hooks are not gonna dig in. Like I said, I've got the green pumpkin, and then I've got this black one. I really like this one because the legs are solid, and they have almost like a sassy swimmer type paddle tail on the back of them. I mean, it just through the water. This will catch you largemouth bass, especially in scummy, nasty ponds, all day long. I usually run 25 or 30 pound tests, not for the fish, but for the scum I'm pulling the frog through. I think this is a 5/8 ounce, so you really can cast it out there, and you just want to drag it across the top of the scum. I mean, it should sit on top of the water and just sit in the scum. That's what I do with my frogs, and you will catch bass. So I picked these up from Dick's a couple weeks ago. Pretty obvious what it does if you haven't seen it before. This is a Yum Wacky Rig rigging tool, and I'll show you how it works. So everybody knows what a wacky rig is. You put the hook right through the middle of the worm and it bounces through the water. I don't understand why fish like it, but you don't have to understand. You just do it and it works. That's all that matters. It's one of the deep, dark magic secrets of fishing. Wacky rigs work. So you take your soft plastic. This is a 5-inch Yum dinger, and what you'll do is take this end, put it over the fat end as far as it'll go. Now you can roll these O-rings all the way down this and pop it on there. That'll be hard to see, but there's an O-ring right there. And then you can thread your hook through the body of the worm, and what that'll do is, you don't have to have the O-ring. You can do that bare, but you lose a worm every time a fish strikes. Just about. It'll rip the worm almost every time. So what this does is it makes this worm last 3, 4, 5 fish longer than it normally would. So that is the Wacky Rig rigging tool. And then I've got some Field and Stream O-rings to refill this once these O-rings are gone. But yeah, that's pretty much my strategy and my formula for fishing. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a like and a comment. And if you wouldn't mind, subscribe. That'd be great. If not, that's all right. Glad you came by. Hey y'all, thanks for watching. This is Grant with AK to VA Outdoors. Tell me what I should do next, because I am always looking for video ideas. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all on the next one.